And we're live here from the Crypto.com arena for another game here with the LA Sparks against the New York Liberty. Myself, Fredo Cervantes, and the one and only
Michael Matthew, and we are here with LA Sparks Weekly here for this big game.
Huge.
Sunday afternoon, the Sparks come in on a 2-game winning streak. They play one of the best teams in the W. LA, New York, back to school night. Oh man, it's a crazy game today.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one of those exciting games. Like I was talking earlier and saying, like, this is going to be the game of the year for the Sparks.
Yeah.
Because after going through everything they've gone through, getting mostly everyone back and healthy, even though there's no Lexi Brown here today.
Yep.
She's getting healthier. She's still dealing with some issues. So, we wish Lexi Brown nothing but the best and make sure she gets back safe and sound with this team. But looking at the matches that we're looking at today, it's not a big 2, it's not a big 3, it's not even a big 4, it's a big 5 that the Sparks are going to be facing tonight. I mean, what are some of the challenges that you think the Sparks are going to be facing today?
Man, first challenge number 1, you have to stop Breanna Stewart, one of the top candidates for the MVP award. Once again, you have to stop her from exploding for 30, 40 points, and then you have to make it tough for Sabrina, not just as far as her scoring, but getting others involved and getting easy buckets for John Quayle and Vandersloot. So it's going to be a tough game. Excuse me.
Bless you.
It's going to be a tough game for the Sparks, man, because this Liberty team is stacked.
No, it's definitely stacked, but let's not forget about how great and consistent these LA Sparks players have been over the last few days. Of course, Nneka Ogwumike doing the usual that she does. And we have Jordan Canada. Canada has been playing spectacular over the last few games here. I mean, what did you see from, like, how did she change from the early in the season to the type of player that Canada is right
because
now?
She's looking like she's in the mode of a point guard. The way that she's able to score points, then to get others involved. She go from 20 and 10 against the first game against the Fever to, I believe, 18 and 8, which is some really impressive numbers. She's kind of found her pace. Her and coach has figured out, this is how I want you to play, this is how I want you to lead the team, and she's been playing some great basketball.
No, and that's exactly what we're going to see, and watching some great basketball, but we're also going to go ahead and take it out to Coach Kurt Miller. He did talk to the chance to talk to the media today. He did say some impressive things, so let's go ahead and go to Coach.
Hey, Coach. So New York is second in offense, and you've seen their team, Breanna Stewart. You know John Quayle very well. Sabrina UNESCO can't miss. What's your primary key to stopping this offense?
Yeah, as you mentioned, tons of weapons, right? And hard to take away one thing without something else opening for them. They have just a tremendous scoring starting lineup. So it starts with the arc. There has to be a plan. They take the most threes. They make the most threes in the league. It energizes them. So we have, game plans with actions. We have game plans to try, to get them at times off the arc. But they are really dynamic offensively. But with that said, they're also a very good offensive rebounding team. So rebounding tonight will be a big deal. Long shots, long rebounds. JJ obviously worked with her for 7 years. I think the elite, the best offensive rebounder in the world. You got to keep her off the glass too, as if you can get them to miss some shots from the perimeter.
Oh, well, hey, Coach. Fredo here with Infanity. Good morning, by the way.
Morning.
Just to let you know a little history about what's, marks today. Back in 2002, Lisa Leslie, the great Lisa Leslie here for the Sparks, became the first player to ever dunk in a WNBA game. Any thoughts on that? And do you remember that moment on Lisa Leslie?
Yeah, obviously I was at the collegiate level at the time, and looked up to this league and what it was doing for women and giving so many dreams and hopes to play professionally and stay in the States. But Lisa Leslie, an icon, certainly in this franchise, has paved the way for tremendous post for a long time. When I think about my time in the league, now in my 9th year in the league, the best players have been the post and the 4s and 5s. But when you look at Lisa, she kind of started to pave the way for elite post players, versatile post players. She could play inside and out. She could dunk. she just meant so much to our game and helped grow our game. So that moment individually is iconic, but she is such a big piece of where we're at today.
Coach, past strategy, what type of energy and effort is it going to take to be competitive and go for a win against this New York Liberty team?
Yeah, we have to have great energy and effort. Well documented that this will be their third game in 4 days. So our challenge is, and teams have had successful moments running against New York. At the same time, increasing possessions on a team with this much firepower doesn't always seem like the right approach. So tempo for us is a big thing tonight. We've got to have our tempo. We've got to run. We've got to find some early and easy offense if we can. At the same time, we have to be deliberate at times and execute and keep the possessions down with a team that's so dynamic offensively. We've got to have a good first quarter. And they're going to be hungry coming off the loss. They'll have Vandersloot back in the lineup tonight. Coming out, again, we talk about the cannon effect all the time. We have to match their energy or exceed it. We've got to get our home crowd into it. We moved back over 500 at home. Can we use our home crowd today to our advantage, get them in it early, and then just play our tails off. And with nothing to lose, John, we have nothing to lose. They are, expected to bounce back, but I like our preparation. I like where we're at mentally going into this game.
With nothing to lose, what are you thinking for the starting lineup?
Yeah, well, I'd like to have not the 16th starting lineup. So I think you are going to see a repeat, as we get through warm-ups and verify that everybody's 100% and we're good to go. I would assume that we'd have a repeat to one of our starting lineups we've used.
Coach, here again. What did you learn over the last 2 victories here? Of course, you guys went through a pretty bad stint here, and now winning 2 games. What did you learn out of your team that they didn't have that mentality of giving up? They continue fighting, and of course, the Thursday game or the Tuesday game, was a very tough one. Came right at the end of Jordan, Canada. But what did you learn out of your team over the last 2?
Yeah, I've not wavered from this. I'm proud of them. We've pivoted. We've handled a lot of adversity. We've stuck together. It's tough when you go on an 8-game losing streak. You can be separated. There can be a lot of division in some locker rooms. Our group stayed together. Didn't mean it was perfect. We were searching. We were trying to play through injuries and illness and stay upbeat. Ultimately, we tried to stay focused on what we're trying to get better at. And the growth, again, from Tuesday to Thursday, we showed them Saturday when we got back together to start preparing for New York. It started with our growth from Tuesday to Thursday. And just the areas that we improved on from game 1 against Indiana to game 2 was really excited. We could show almost identical clips of a similar action where we didn't necessarily accomplish what we wanted to accomplish in Tuesday, and Thursday show 3 feet, 4 inches, 6 inches different, both offensively and defensively, helping us have success in that Thursday game. And it brought smiles around the room that, little things that we talked about that we really wanted to improve on, we did. So I love our growth. I'm excited again. That 8-game losing streak's behind us. It's hard, in this league. It's a fine line between winning and losing, and all the adversity that we've had. It's made it even more difficult, but they've stuck together. They believe in each other. We're trying to make sure that they're having fun through this because, again, it's not just this year. It's so big, much bigger than just a one-year picture.
Any other questions? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, we are back. LA Sparks Weekly. Mike Carroll here. Fredo. Coach Miller's talking. He got these ladies ready to go. Much different energy. Got a couple wins in,
Yes.
So what's your thoughts going into this performance for the Sparks? What does Coach Miller have to do to help his ladies be in the best position to win today?
I mean, the New York Liberty are averaging about 88 points per game. They just lost on Friday in Minnesota. but they did get a chance to score 83 points in a loss. So you can still see that in order to beat a type of team like the Liberty, offensively, your game got to be out there today. But one key thing that LA can focus on is stopping the three-point shooting of the New York Liberty.
Yeah.
New York as a team is shooting almost 38% from the three-point line. Individually, Brianna is shooting over 40%.
Yes.
So you know that New York is going to come out and start shooting those threes. So all LA got to do is make sure that the players have their hands up on their faces. Block that vision. Don't let them get their eyes locked in onto the hole of the basket, because once they do that, people like Sabrina and Brianna are going to be locked in and shooting that ball.
And as important as the offense has been in the couple wins, it's all about the defense as well. So that's going to be key. But then it's also going to be on other players stepping up, like Azare Stevens, like Lasia Clarendon. And matter of fact, they talked to the media before the game.
Let's go.
Do you know if Lasia's on the way?
I'm not sure. I was like lifting, but I guess we can start.
Yeah, we'll just start. Any questions for Azare? John?
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I just spoke with Coach, and he was telling us that he feels like your team has nothing to lose against New York. What do you think about that statement?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. We know they're a really talented team, but so are we. So I think the focus is just for us to come out and execute and play defense and offense the way we know how, and just battle it out.
I guess one more. What type of all-around effort do you think it's going to take to be competitive and try to go for a win against the Liberty?
Yeah, I think it's more defensively. We know they're a really high-powered offensive team, and we really have to. They have multiple weapons at different positions, so the focus will really be defensively for us to really key in on. I mean, they have a lot of key players, so all of them.
Hey, Azure Fredo here with Infanity TV. Do you feel like playing 2 games back-to-back against the same team right now after, they've played 3 in the last 4 days or so? Do you think that's an advantage towards you guys, even though, they are, at the top of the league?
Yeah, I think it's good practice for us for playoffs. Being able to play a team twice, you really get to know the matchup really well, and between those 2 games, make good adjustments so that the next game can come out a little bit stronger.
Hey, Azre, what's the primary key for you stopping the Liberty? Is it getting them off the 3-point line, or?
Yeah, I mean, that's what was a focus of ours yesterday. They shoot a lot of threes, so we're really trying to focus on limiting them there and transition defense. We know that they get out and run, so defensively we have to be able to get back and get into quick matchups so that we can limit their transition offense.
Hi, Azrae. Jeff with LA Sparks Weekly. Your gameplay and quality gameplay has definitely picked up lately. What do you credit that to?
Like, as a team?
No, you yourself.
Oh, okay.
Defensively, your intensity, just making a bigger difference on the court.
Yeah, I think I've just been trying to focus on bringing that energy. Now I'm in the starting lineup, so bringing it from the beginning. That's a focus our team has had. Throughout the season is let's get to good starts, and now that I'm starting, I've really tried to focus on bringing that energy from the beginning.
John?
What's the difference between starting and coming off the bench for you in particular?
Honestly, there's no difference for me. I try to bring energy no matter what, and like I've said before, throughout my career, I played a lot of different positions, coming off the bench, starting. 6-man off the bench. My rookie year, I started a little bit, so I really just try to put pressure on myself to perform, and bring energy no matter what position I'm in.
Any other questions?
Do you feel more comfortable starting? Because it seems like you play a lot better when you do start.
I mean, I'm a competitor, so obviously, I don't like coming off the bench, but again, it's coach's decision, so, yeah, I like starting. I'm a competitor. I don't want to be on the bench really at all. But, he's had different decisions he's had to make, and I understand that. So, I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Hold on, I gotta fish my banana. Sorry. It's early, Get the breakfast in.
What's up? How you doing?
Hi, good.
It's good to see you again. You spoke with Coach and Azare, asked both of them the same question, so I throw it at you as well. Coach was saying that he feels like your team has nothing to lose against the Liberty. What do you think about that statement?
What do I think about it? Yeah, nothing to lose, everything to gain. When you're the hunted, there's definitely a little more pressure on you to, for standings, for all the things, but we're fighting for playoffs, so yeah, I would agree with that.
Great.
I know athletes are a creature of habit, but do you like these day games or better than the night games, or what's up?
Getting up and getting going is a little harder on these days, but after the game, when you leave the gym and there's still daylight and you still have like a life left to live, is really nice. It's not 10 o'clock and you're like super jacked and you can't fall asleep and it's like 1 in the morning. So harder to get going. Post game is definitely worth it.
Hey, Lasia here, Fredo with Infanity TV. How do you feel right now mentally and physically, after being out for a few weeks and then now kind of getting your rhythm back? You're in the starting lineup. You're making a lot of difference out in the court for this team. How do you feel right now?
I feel good. Yeah, I feel really good. I feel in shape. That was probably my biggest concern was like, what would my win be like being out for a month? Because you don't want to come back and be gassed. But I was in really good shape going in, so that I didn't lose too much of that. My legs definitely, I think, feel a little more fresh than the rest of the team who's played a lot more games than me and a lot more travel. So it's more just like mentally getting in the flow of things, getting in the rhythm of things. I think this being like my 11th game or so of the season, just trusting that I'm doing such a good job with such little experience from this season. Just trusting myself.
What kind of challenges are you going to face today, having to be out there with Brianna and Sabrina? I'm pretty sure you're going to be, defending them throughout the game a lot. Mm-hmm. So what kind of challenges are you going to be facing out there?
They're just an offensive powerhouse. It's like you look at their team, you're like, do we take away this? Do we take away that? Oh, forget Benijah Laney can kill you in this. Do you focus on Brianna Stewart? Then JJ hits a three. I've played with JJ. She's an amazing floor spacer. So offensively, I think they're averaging close to 90 points. The powerhouse that they are with the likes of like a Vegas team who can score. So for us offensively is not being afraid to like run on them, attack them on the other end of the court. Because also teams with great offensive power usually, right, they're not going to give as much effort on the defensive end. So for us, it's being sharp offensively.
Any other questions? Sure. Ray.
Are we sticking with the purple hair for the rest of the season?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. How many games do you have? 20? Yeah, it'll be purple.
I mean, if you make the playoffs, can you do a new look or something, or?
When we make the playoffs, yeah, I'll consider a new look.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Asia.
We are back. We just heard from Lasia. We heard from Azare, two important players to today's game, two important players to this team. So what do you think those two have to do, being in the starting lineup, going against one of the best starting lineups in the W? What do those two players have to do to help what Jordan's been doing, to help what Nneka's been doing?
Yeah, I got a chance to ask Azure, and I told her, like, hey, what's it going to do? Like, what kind of challenges are you guys going to face guarding this type of team? And she's like, you know what? They're a great three-point shooting team.
Yep.
That's one thing they really got to focus on. And that seems like that's the same thing that the players and the coach are aligned together, knowing that they got to stop the three-point ball.
Yep.
If they can do that, they can minimize the New York Liberty to at least up to 70, 75 points possibly, which that would be remarkable if they get to a chance to do that. And also, Azure seems like, I asked her, because, the question was surrounding about, like, hey, do you feel comfortable? It seems like when you're in the starting lineup, you feel much better. She's like, yeah, it's better coming off starting than coming off the bench. And, for someone like Azure, who seems like when she's locked in the game, she is out there scoring 15, 12 points, shooting some 3 points, extending the floor for the team, and as well her defense,
that's key.
Presence down there. She's blocking shots, grabbing rebounds, and she's doing the little things that at times is not noted on the stat sheet, but she is that important to this basketball team.
She's going to get a lot of minutes today on Brianna, so we're going to see what type of job. Going from Aaliyah Boston, such a player who's, in the paint, trying to body you, be strong. Now you're going to somebody so skilled like Brianna. It's going to be key that Azure has a big-time game on both ends of the floor today. So it got me very excited. And what, the Liberty, the games that they had to back-to-back, had to fly over here. Fredo, you won't believe, I am going with the upset today.
Woo!
I think the Sparks take care of business today here at home. ESPN is here. It is a big-time game. The ladies going to be ready to go. I got the upset. I got the Sparks today.
All right, man. Hey, I'm on the same boat. It seems like we're on the same boat here today, and I feel like the Sparks really, like Coach said, this game it's not really much of a momentum killer for them because they know how talented this team is, but they can only gain and get better if they do accomplish the great things right here. So I'm with you on the same boat. I feel like they can come out strong, especially after Minnesota's been, New York's been dealing with the back and forth over the last few games. So I'm there with you, but who is your player of the game? Who do you think, which player is going to stand out the most here tonight?
The player for me, I'm going to say, is going to be Nneka. I think Nneka has to be the best player on the floor today for them to win. And I think that, her job defensively against Jonquel Jones, a former WNBA MVP, and then her getting buckets consistently. We may need a 30-point game from her tonight, and I think she's going to give us that, and that's why I have the Sparks with the upset.
Well, for my player of the game, I think I'm going to go with the same player I picked the last game, rookie Zia Cook. I feel like she's going to get another start here today. Coach kind of talked about it. He's like, I don't want to switch my lineup for the 17th time today.
Yeah.
He's going to maintain with the same lineup he went on Thursday. But Zia getting that experience to be out there with these talented players, I feel like she can really gain some high confidence after this game, and she just got to have some success shooting the ball because lately her percentage-wise has not been so great, but her energy and effort has been there throughout the whole season. That's a great thing for Zia because she still, till today, has not missed one game. Not missed one game. She's at least played 1 minute in every game.
She has that youth, so we're so excited here. Big-time game. Make sure that you guys follow us, LA Sparks Weekly, and be back. We got more for you in the post-game show. I can't wait for it. Go Sparks.
Let's go. And we're live here at Crypto.com Arena for your LA Sparks Weekly post-game show after the New York Liberty came in here and took care of business, 87-79 over the LA Sparks. And I'm not here by myself. I got the one and only
Michael Matthew here, and it was just a tough from the get-go. They were down at one point in the first quarter, 22-2. It was looking ugly, but the ladies did fight, put forth some effort there in the fourth quarter, and nearly made a great comeback, but it wasn't enough, Fredo.
No, it definitely was not enough. It was just something that when you look at that type of offense, the way they move the ball, the way they shoot the ball, and especially the way they shoot the three-point ball, there's just nothing you can do about that, especially when you have Sabrina, Brianna, everyone going out, and they were just looking too good out there. And even though the LA Sparks offense seemed to kind of get back in shape throughout the middle of the game, through the third quarter, and even early in the fourth quarter. But for some sort of reason, LA Sparks are not shooting enough threes. I mean, it feels like in order for them to really compete in the league and with some of these big, high caliber teams, you really got to shoot the ball at a high percentage. And that's something they're not doing this year.
And I feel that, with the Sparks, they're not the most talented team. They have some players that can play, but when it comes to the top-notch teams, they're not the most talented team. So the great equalizer is a three-point shot, and not being able to get enough shots up and making enough threes. They shot 22 threes compared to the 34 of the New York Liberty. Then the Liberty made 15 threes. The Sparks only made 5. So that's 30 points there that you miss out on. So I don't know if it's something that Coach Miller, especially against teams like the Aces, the Sun, and the Liberty, like, hey, we got to put up more, meaning we got to knock them down. Then he talked about it pregame. You got to stop them from making these open threes, and they allowed too many open threes early. You had Johannes, who was 5 for 5 in the first half. It just put them down early, and it was tough for them to come back, and that's why we didn't see it happen.
No, definitely. But, quick shout out to the junior LA Sparks are right here
behind us.
They're taking care of some business, learning some tricks off on the court. But it is going to be definitely interesting because they get this team right back again on Tuesday
night.
I think when we walked in here, I don't know if you saw it, the game got changed to 4 p.m.
On
Tuesday. 4 p.m. I mean,
okay.
All I saw here is said Tuesday, August 1st, 4 p.m.
Okay.
The game was scheduled to be 7 o'clock, but I guess we will be here early enough on Tuesday afternoon. It is Taco Tuesday. LeBron's going to be having some tacos that day.
It's going to be great, but hopefully the ladies are ready to go. And Coach Miller kind of talked to us about that, there in the post game.
Tough offensive start. New York, challenges teams in this league so much with their spacing and their ability to shoot threes. And tonight was no exception and really led early by Marine Johannes and really, helped, spread us out and seemed like we were always playing a game of tag the whole night. But again, proud of our fight. A lot to learn from. We'll go back to the film. And this is the fun part of the chess match when you play a team 2 times in a row. What are the adjustments, and how can we convey that to our team and then get back at it Tuesday night?
Anything outside of the bad start that bothered you the most about this game?
You know, I felt at times until late, obviously the discrepancy with the rebounding. They were hurting us on the boards for a team that was shooting well until late. They were, completely destroying us on the boards because, they were wanting and dunning us, and they were making a bunch of shots, so there wasn't a lot of rebounds to have. So defensively, rebounding, that was a concern of mine. But, we handled the ball. We didn't turn it over. We got to the foul line. We got the points in the paint that, we wanted against them, knowing they were going to have a discrepancy at the arc. Just, 15 threes. It's what they do, right? That's just crazy how talented they are at the arc.
Coach, when it comes to the three-point shooting, do you think it was kind of the pace that they played with that was giving them easy three-point shot attempts? And what can you guys do to kind of stop their pace? Because it seemed like they were just able to move the ball whenever they wanted to.
Yeah, I thought, at times we turned them over. But, when they were executing, they were really impressive in the half court with that pace. We've got to be able to stay in plays. That's what they are. They're a dynamic offensive team. You have to be able to score with them to compete with them. And we did in stretches. The second and fourth quarter, are big numbers for us. But we just didn't have consistently over 40 minutes enough offense, to stay with this such a talented offensive team that were shooting the ball well from the arc.
Hey, Kurt. I know it's a tough game, but you guys got 10 steals. And, what do you feel like? How can you kind of keep that defensive momentum going, especially into Tuesday?
Yeah, I thought we were scrappy. I thought we scrambled, in the fourth quarter a lot. Our defense wasn't perfect. Our schemes, at times they read them and exploited some, but we scrambled harder in the fourth quarter. Loved that. Loved the energy. Loved the toughness that we came with. But you have to have that from the beginning against a team this talented. But we got hands on a lot of balls. Again, we turned them over 17 times. I thought there were some 50-50 balls that we didn't come up with. It could have been 20. We got to be scrappy against this team.
Coach, before the game, we talked about, you wanted tempo. You wanted to get out and run. In the first quarter, when you were down those 19 points, you only had 4 fast break points, and then you didn't have any in the second quarter, didn't have any in the third quarter. What type of difference do you think that made to go 3 quarters in this game and only have 2 buckets fast break?
Yeah, hard to fast break when you can't get stops. I mean, that was a lot of the story early. And at the same time, we have to keep running. I thought De'Erica had a good night. Rim running wasn't always rewarded. Even missed, that one near the end of the quarter. But, she puts pressure on the rim with her rim running. So, again, it's important to supplement. There's that balance where I think we can get out in transition against this team. Teams have had success against New York running. At the same time, it just increases the possessions of the game with a good offensive team. So there's that balance of execution in the half court with also timely fast break points and opportunities.
Hey, Coach, here, Fredo with Infanity. Talk to me a little bit about De'Erica's performance tonight. She was very efficient out there. She played very hard, and as well as Zaya Cook only playing 6.5 minutes tonight.
Yeah, De'Erica was outstanding. Again, it was her motor. I thought it was her effort. Probably had an opportunity to put her back in even earlier, but her motor and how hard she played was really important for us tonight. Zaya, started both halves. It's a really tough matchup. They immediately go to Laney. You put her on her. If not, you have to put her on Sabrina. They put Sabrina in action. So, they intentionally know where Zaya is. And then I thought Jazz gave us good minutes. And I thought, in the comeback, Ray was on the floor with her length, her ability to get some extra deflections and rebounds. So we didn't go back with Zaya late in the first half or late in the second half. But she's gonna have her opportunities in this league.
Take the 2 questions on Zoom. Imani, then Jesse.
Hi, Coach Imani Wright with Winsider. I noticed towards the end of the game that you guys utilized the trap with Azure and Ray, utilizing their length. Is that something we're going to see more often coming into the latter half of the season? Because I noticed you guys had success with that.
Yeah, I mean, we've used traps throughout the year effectively. At times, you got to pick your places with this very talented New York team because it puts you in rotation. And if you're not on point with your rotations, it's going to lead to open, uncontested threes. So they're a hard team to trap, but you have to try to find disruptions different ways with them.
Hey, Coach. Jesse Barish, WNBA lead. And I wanted to build on what Imani was asking. You mentioned in your on-air interview with Ryan that you were going to try some stuff out in the fourth quarter and see what you saw. What did you see that you liked and want to carry forward?
Again, it was our scramble. Was our effort as, plays unfolded, how we were guarding, how we were going to scramble out of things. We trapped some in the fourth quarter. What came out of that was I loved our effort. We just really played hard. The learning lesson is you got to play almost with that sense of urgency and desperation that we played late with. You have to play all game with. There's a thin line with our group, and we've got to throw everything at them all game long. As hard as it is, we have a thin line. We have to play that way all the time.
Thanks.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
So we are back. We just heard from Coach Miller, and he talked about, hey, we have to start off much faster. We knew what they were going to come out and do, but we have to start off much faster. Be more competitive on the defensive end, making it tough for them to get these wide open threes and being there to contest. And maybe they kind of learned something with that run. He was saying the scramble drill defensively was perfect for the team. They were getting a lot of deflections. They caused 10 steals. So maybe that's something that they can use in the second game on Tuesday against the Liberty. What's your thoughts, Fredo?
I mean, you look at some of the players; they play very well. You look at De'Erica Hamby. She had a
great
phenomenal game today. 21 points out there. She looked very good. Even though the refs, for some reason, she never gets the foul call. I mean, I feel like personally, not just making a joke out of it, I feel like the refs have something against De'Erica because every time throughout the whole year, she's not getting the calls she deserves. And I'm pretty sure as a player, not getting those calls, you're pretty frustrated. And, it doesn't make me want you to go down there too much and take some of those tough shots. But De'Erica has played amazing today. Nneka, for some reason, Nneka was not herself today.
She didn't play in the fourth quarter because of, the lead. They were kind of like, let's see what this group that we have out there can do, and they made the comeback. So it made sense, but, she was my pick before the game to be the player of the game. So we needed more from her. They needed her to be the best player on the floor.
Yes.
It just didn't happen. But we just, we heard from De'Erica and Azure. So let's listen to them as they talk about what happened in today's game and what they can do on Tuesday night to pick up a victory. So ladies, can you just talk about the pace that the Liberty played with today that allowed them to get some of the open threes early on when they jumped out to a big lead early?
Yeah, I mean, they just were running in transition, getting out quick. Sloot was getting downhill, spraying the ball, so we just got to find a way to contain that a little bit more and stop their offensive flow.
De'Erica, you had 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 steals. Can you talk about what you saw out there that made you have a great game today?
Just playing hard and running the floor really well. And just my activity got me going early and gave me some confidence to kind of continue to be aggressive throughout the game. But mostly I would say just running hard.
Hey, could you guys kind of talk to me about that late rally in the fourth quarter and just kind of like your fight, especially during the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much to say. Like, we just played with a lot of heart. Sometimes I think we can get wrapped up in like schemes or this or that, but like when you get on the court, who's playing with heart? And I think that that's what we did. Like we were scrambling, talking, hustling, and we were just fighting all together, that last unit that was in. So we got to find a way to do it for the whole game.
Yeah, I would say there was a couple buckets that we probably wish we could get back, and obviously not starting a game 20-2. That's a really big hole to come back from against a top 2 team in this league.
Jesse, do you have a question on Zoom?
Yeah, thanks for taking the question. You know, you both, like you said, it's all about the effort. What kinds of things did you see? Did you try anything new, or did anything when you had the opportunity to try some new stuff out? What worked for you? Try and get back into it.
I would just say getting behind the defense overall. I think the post players did a good job tonight. But I think we have to find the identity of this team and what makes us unique and different on the defensive end and kind of stick to that. And like I said, I mean, they have a lot of great players, but not being so focused on who they have and just focus on what we're good at.
And I think, too, like, we were moving the ball. Like, everybody was getting touches. We were swinging it around. JC was getting downhill, drawing the defense. We were, like, it was just a lot of movement, and I think sometimes we get a little stagnant. And so we have to make them work on defense, just like they're making us work every possession. We have to turn around and do the same thing back to them.
Thanks. Looking forward to seeing it on Tuesday.
De'Eric, I'd like to kind of follow up on something you just said. What do you think this team is good at right now?
I think there's our versatility. I think every guard on this team is very versatile, and every post player on this team is versatile. You know, Lay's been a point guard her entire life, and she's playing the 3 right now. So she's got size, and then obviously our post players are quadruple dimensional. Like, we can all kind of do kind of everything. So I think we have to, you know, this, like, it's a new group, but we're figuring it out. Like I said, we were kind of getting back healthy. But yeah, just figuring out and gelling together, continuing to.
Amanda?
Despite the loss, you guys did get 10 steals. And what does that like say to your effort on defense?
Back to like what we're good at. We're long and we're active and we're mobile. I think we have 3 of the best guard defenders like in this league, and like C being one of them, but she's out. But just our activity, and like that just goes back to our versatility.
Yeah, I think we were just scrambling. Like, sometimes defense is, I mean, in my opinion, defense is hard. It's just who wants it more. So I think we just were scrambling, running around, like, talking, pointing, energy, just, okay, someone's going here, and then we just got deflection. We made them hesitate. And, you know, they move the ball around, they spray it, but when you make them hesitate, it's good for us. And I think we found something with that.
Can you do that from the beginning of the game? Like, what does it take to start a game like that?
Just got to do it. I mean, there's no, like, write-up on it. It's just doing it. I don't know, like, what else we need to say about it. It's just we have to do it.
Amani on Zoom?
Hi, De'Erica. My question's for you. I noticed you and Jordan had that alley-oop play. That was really cool to get you to the layup. Could you take us through that, how that felt, and then also to your relationship with JC?
Honestly, I was going to just catch it and go up, and then I kind of felt somebody behind me, so I was like, I need to go up right away. As you can see, I didn't jump super high. But the ball went in the basket, and we're learning each other. You know, JC lives in Vegas, kind of a few minutes from me, so we worked out a few times, like off the court kind of things. But you know, she's kind of shy, and I'm just kind of getting into things. So that's going to continue to develop and just continue to grow like long term.
Hey, Azri. Fredo with Infanity. You know, it seems like, you know, your three-point ball has been going in pretty good throughout the whole year. Do you feel like the team has to shoot more three-pointers in order to kind of compete with these other teams that actually shoot a lot of three-pointers?
Yeah, I think we just had to stay confident. I mean, we know that teams are sagging in on us, and we have to keep the defense honest, really. In my opinion, it's not who we're playing, it's just us. Like, we have to take open shots and just think every shot's going in. Shooting is confidence, and so we all talk about that in the locker room. Like, let's just keep, if we're open, attack. Like, you have to keep the defense honest, and they're gonna go in. Like, we have talented shooters on our team. We put in the work. Like, it will go in, but we have to stay confident when we get those open three-pointers.
I'll follow up on that. I think in this league right now, it is kind of layup in threes, and I think there's only probably been one team that was able to beat a team by only twos, and that was the Vegas team like 3 years ago with Liz. But yeah, you do like we gotta, like she said, have confidence and knock that shot down because we're getting them up. I just think our percentage could be a bit better.
Thank you, Lise.
Thank you.
We are back. We just heard from De'Erica and Azare, and they talked about the energy from the jump. You know, we saw them bring it in the fourth quarter, made it a very competitive game. They wish, you know, they said it there in the press conference that they got a couple more stops, but it didn't happen. But they have to bring that effort out in the first quarter. They trailed 25-11. It's tough to come back against a team like the Liberty with all of the talent they have. So they have to figure that out. What's your thoughts on, you know, them coming out early this game on Tuesday?
I mean, they definitely got to come out there and just rebound the ball.
Yes,
I mean, when
they
you
have
can
to.
rebound the ball, you will gain a lot more possessions, whether they're offensively or defensively. No matter what it is, you just got to rebound the ball, and hopefully, you know, we get the opportunity to see a very competitive game because, like you mentioned earlier, you know, from the very beginning of the tip, it was just kind of like the game was kind of over in a way. And thankfully, the Sparks had that mentality of not giving up and staying within the game and competing. Because one thing I did see here, the last two quarters, Liberty were held down to 18 points each quarter.
Yeah.
So at any given time that you can hold down a team under 20 points a quarter is very good. You're doing some great things out there. But one person that I did see, you know, I went back-to-back same player of the game for myself. You know, I took Zaya Cook. And, you know, I did get a chance to ask Coach earlier right now, as you guys just saw, about why Zaya only plays 6.5 minutes throughout the game. He's like, look, I gave her the 3 minutes to start in the first quarter. I gave her the next 3 minutes to start in the second half of the third quarter. And for her, he's like, they were just putting her on too many
They were attacking
too many
her.
in action. They were putting her in action, making her rotate, making her feet move. Of course, that's one of the things that Coach Miller has talked about throughout the year. That you know, Zaya needs to improve more on the defensive end, and maybe the main reason why Zaya is not getting that time that she should be getting due to the defensive mistakes.
Yeah, and that's what it's going to take. It's going to take the defense stops for them early for them to make this game Tuesday to be competitive. But I think the Sparks can do it. They have the heart. They know what they have to do. It's great when you can play a team back-to-back because now you can make the adjustments. So let's see. I'm not saying that the Sparks will win like I did earlier. I made that mistake.
I know, we both made
that mistake. But I'm saying that it's going to be a much more competitive game throughout Tuesday. But we're going to be back to talk more about it. So we thank you guys here for tuning in for LA Sparks Weekly Post-Game Show. Let's see what can happen on Tuesday. Mike Alfredo, we catch you guys Tuesday night, baby.
Sparks Weekly.